Welcome to Business Review, a daily program that delves into the latest and most significant economic stories. From stock markets to currency news, Business Review covers the most up-to-date stories in the global financial world.
Protesters from the group shot down DC, banged on drums, pots and pans, and chanted outside the residence of Postmaster General Louis DeJoy in Washington, D.C. on August 15th. The protest comes amid an investigation by the Postal Service's internal watchdog into cost-cutting that has slowed delivery and alarmed lawmakers ahead of a presidential election when up to half of U.S. voters could cast ballots by mail. The Postal Service's Inspector General also will examine possible conflicts of interest involving new Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, who has Republicans, according to Saloni Sharma, a spokeswoman for Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, who requested the investigation. DeJoy owns millions of dollars in stock in Postal Service rivals and customers, according to a financial disclosure form filed by his wife. Election officials have scrambled to prepare for a deluge of mail ballots as Americans avoid public gatherings due to the coronavirus pandemic, which has prompted many states to make it easier to vote by mail. The Postal Service itself has gotten pulled into a political fight, with Republican President Donald Trump saying he objected to providing funds for the struggling service or mail voting as part of a coronavirus relief package. Trump, who is trailing Democratic rival Joe Biden in opinion polls, has rallied against widespread mail voting, saying, without evidence that it could lead to fraud. Biden and other top Democrats have accused Trump of trying to discourage mail voting because he believes doing so would boost his re-election chances.
The Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi of China said the construction of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has entered a new stage of high-quality development. Wang made remarks when holding the second strategic dialogue between China and Pakistan with the visiting Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi in South China's Hainan province. He said both parties will push to complete the projects under construction in time, create more job opportunities, and improve people's livelihoods. Strengthen cooperation in fields including industrial parks, human resource training, poverty alleviation, medical care, and agriculture. Speaking of the current pandemic, Wang said China is willing to share experience of regular pandemic prevention and control with Pakistan in a timely manner. China-Pakistan ties have been tested by the pandemic, the mutual trust has been consolidated, and cooperation has been deepened. That's what Wang said, adding that the relation of the two iron friends had been strengthened. The two sides also agreed to deepen the construction of the China-Pakistan community of a shared future and a community of health in the common fight against the pandemic. For his part, Qureshi said Pakistan firmly supports all of China's core interests and major concerns and is willing to work with the country jointly for future cooperation, carry out cooperation in various fields, including vaccine research, and jointly oppose politicization and stigmatization of the pandemic. Qureshi said Pakistan is willing to work with China to advance the construction of the Pakistan-China Economic Corridor.
AMC theaters and other cinema chains will fire up projectors in major U.S. cities this week, offering low-price tickets, discounted popcorn, and new safety measures to try to draw audiences during the pandemic. Movie theaters in several major U.S. cities are set to reopen after being shut since March due to the global health crisis, with noticeable changes aimed at convincing customers it's safe to come back to the movies. There are now hand sanitizing stations instead of standing in line to buy popcorn and other goodies. Moviegoers can simply just pick up their order after purchasing through an app, and of course there's social distancing before and after customers get inside the movie theater. But it all starts with buying a ticket, says Mookie Griedinger, CEO of Cineworld, which owns Regal Cinemas in the US. He said they have fixed the ticket sales software to keep social distancing between transactions so a family will sit together. People that came together in the same car also can sit together, but there will be a distance between them and the other groups that are buying for the same movie. In order to lure customers back, theaters are slashing prices at the door and beyond. AMC, the world's biggest theater chain, is selling 15-cent tickets for opening day on Thursday. After that, tickets for classic movies such as Grease and Ghostbusters will cost 5%. Popcorn, snacks and beverages will be discounted as well. But it's going to take more than just cheap tickets and nostalgia to convince moviegoers that it's safe to go back to the movies, and so masks are a must. The rollout this week, which will include new releases such as the Russell Crowe thriller Unhinged, is seen as a preview for the main show. Labor Day weekend, that's when the movie industry hopes it will kick off the real revival when Christopher Nolan's thriller Tenet hits the big screen. But there's a plot twist. Any chance for an industry comeback will be dimmed without two of America's biggest movie-going cities, Los Angeles and New York.
Japanese artist Hiroko Takahashi fought through sexism and suspicion from traditional kimono artisans to establish a globally known brand that sold hundreds of her original garments every month until the pandemic devastated her business. Takahashi, who uses a laser printer for some of her designs, found her first company in university and counts sumo wrestlers among her customers. Noted for her bold unisex prints for both kimono and yukata, which is a lighter kimono, and her refusal to accept conventional limits on wearing them, an advertisement poses her in one holding a shovel. Takahashi earlier this year was part of an exhibit at London's Victoria and Albert Museum and under contract to provide roomwear yukata for a new luxury hotel as Japan geared up to host the Olympics. In ordinary years, she'd also be selling 100 to 200 made-to-order yukata a month, remarkable success in an industry so steadily declining that sales now hover around 16% of what they were in 1981. That's according to government data. But the pandemic has now changed everything. Department stores shut for weeks, the Olympics were postponed until 2021, and the hotel opening was put off. Summer festivals and fireworks displays, usually prime yukata-wearing occasions, were cancelled nationwide. Though Takahashi is teaching and eking out income-making pleated masks for kimono fabric, her income has taken a major hit. Her yukata started at 60,000 yen, just over $500, and a kimono at 3 million yen, $28,000, but the masks go for 1,400, which is $13 a piece. Even if demand picks up, the impact will be lasting. A lack of orders means new tailors can't practice enough to learn the job properly. And a recent survey by Eru, a company promoting traditional crafts, found that unless demand improves, 40% of artisans may be forced to quit by the end of the year. Takahashi, whose ambition is to update the kimono design to suit present times and thereby spark demand, said she will do what she can.
US President Donald Trump on August 19th called for a boycott of Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company in response to a company policy that has deemed political attire, including that of the Trump campaign, unacceptable for the workplace. Don't buy Goodyear tires. They announced a ban on MAGA hats. The Republican president seeking re-election on November 3rd wrote on Twitter, referring to his slogan, "Make America Great Again." Shares in Goodyear, the largest tire company in North America, fell 4% following Trump's Twitter post. A statement posted on the company's official Twitter account defended the long-standing corporate policy, saying that Goodyear has zero tolerance for any form of harassment or discrimination. To enforce that policy, Goodyear said it asks employees to refrain from workplace expressions in support of political campaigning for any candidate or political party, as well as similar forms of advocacy that fall outside the scope of racial justice and equality issues. Last year, Goodyear had nearly $15 billion in revenue, the bulk coming from sales of tires according to regulatory filings. Goodyear is the largest provider of tires to new vehicles in the United States. Goodyear brand tires were on 24% of new vehicles in the US in 2018, according to the Tire Business, an industry publication. The White House declined to comment on whether Trump was calling for Americans to stop buying new vehicles with Goodyear tires.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.